Super excited. We have Chris Lane. He's the Senior Director of Sales at TuneIn. And we are really excited to talk about our partnership between Full Throttle and TuneIn and the opportunities that it now gives every advertiser, every agency that is on the Full Throttle platform. So, getting right into it, one thing that I often do with publishers and networks that we're working with and have onboarded onto the platform is a simple question, which, so for Chris, like, what do advertisers and agencies not know about TuneIn that they probably should?
Yeah, and first off, really appreciate the time today, and we're really excited to be partnering with Full Throttle. So glad to be talking to everyone. And yeah, TuneIn is the world's radio. That's what you need to know. We are redefining what radio means for a connected world. If you look at what radio might have meant 10 years, 20 years, 50 years ago, it's a handful of stations available in your local area, and you're kind of limited to that. The world is more connected than ever before. We want to provide every station that is available across the globe to any user, regardless of where they are. So at the root of it, we are a place where you can listen to any live audio content on any device you want. It's over 100,000 stations. We have 100% coverage of every AM, FM station in the United States and 98% coverage globally. So like at our base, we provide every AM FM station you could ever want to listen to. But we've gone beyond that because when you talk about redefining radio, it's also that concept of live audio content. So in addition to the terrestrial, we're also powering streams from CNN and MSNBC and Fox. We have ESPN on the platform. We just launched a great station with the Big 12 Conference where we're doing live games as well as daily shows specific to the Big 12. They have a number of teams that are going to be tipping off today and tomorrow in the NCAA tournament. So it's gone beyond that original definition of radio and turned into something much, much bigger. It's an infinite dial for our users wherever they are, wherever they want to connect, anywhere in the world.
Wow, that's amazing. And I think you've given a great idea of the kind of scale of the content that is available across so many different types of content. Let's say we focus in on, looking at the US specifically, right? For a lot of our advertisers and agencies and our watchers and listeners are probably very US focused and based. Give me like just a sense of scale in terms of like, how many devices do you think that TuneIn could reach, in the US? And maybe that includes cars. I have a car where I have TuneIn in my vehicle as well. Give us a sense of that.
Definitely in the car. That is an area that we are very leaned in on. And getting ahead of myself, but there's no better place to message buying a new car than when you're driving around in an old car. And I can say that as someone who is in a 8-year-old vehicle. Every time I get in it, I think about when I'm going to make that upgrade. So yeah. So in terms of like scale, we reach 30 million in the United States every month. We are on 200 plus different devices. It's not just the car. For the first time in 50, 60 years, people are installing radios in their home, and they're not traditional radios with antennas. They're smart speakers that are powering all their listening. They're connected to the internet. They're connected to the globe, so they can listen to any station they want to on that device whenever they want. So when we look at our distribution, mobile, tablet, and desktop, our app, our website, those are kind of table stakes that any publisher is going to be able to offer. But where we're really focused is growth and distribution. Because our content is live, a person needs to be able to access it wherever and whenever they need it, right? Like it's not an on-demand playlist. If you're trying to listen to a basketball game and you have to run to the store, like you need to be able to take that with you, and we make that possible. So we are in 200 plus different connected devices. In addition to mobile, tablet, desktop, a big chunk of that is smart speaker, that connected home. And then another area of lean in is in the car. We are off the lot integrated in all Tesla, Rivian, Lucid. We just approached a new deal with Nissan. We're obviously compatible with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We have integrations in ways so that you can hop through your TuneIn presets without
Yeah.
leaving the, if you're in an old car like me
Yeah.
and you're limited on your navigation, you might rely on that phone a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's
Sure.
nice having those presets. But, there's also a long tail of devices. Those are kind of the primary channels, I would say now. But
Yeah.
we're in golf carts. We
Oh,
did a
wow.
did a partnership with Greg Norman's Shark Experience. So if you're on
Yeah.
the course and you want to listen to music while you're playing, I'm a bit of a
Yeah.
traditionalist. I like it quiet when I'm swinging, but
Yeah.
if you do want music, you can listen, or news or sports or whatever. You can listen to tune in a golf cart. We have integrations in smart appliances. I had a friend that was at a gym at a hotel, and they were on a treadmill, and there was a TuneIn logo, and I was like,
Wow.
we're in all these places now. When you think about the scale and where you're going to reach the majority of users, mobile
Yeah.
is huge, smart speakers are huge, the car is huge. Those other places are there because we need to be there when a person needs us. But in terms of consumption, the primary listening is happening on those core devices.
That's amazing. Again, really, really impressive amount of reach
Yeah.
that you guys have. But let's now flip to the other angle, which is around precision audiences, right? So,
Yeah.
if you want to be specific about how you're targeting, how do you grapple the scale of what's possible, but then bringing it down to a lot of mid-market advertisers and agencies who want to stretch their dollar the best that they can, are looking for targeted placement.
Sure.
How should advertising agencies think about targeting within the TuneIn network?
Yeah, it's been probably 10 years now since we really leaned into programmatic as a
Yeah,
revenue stream for us. And you listen to the marketplace and you understand what advertisers, brands are looking for, and you go that route, right?
yeah,
You need to create a frictionless environment where any advertiser, regardless of size, regardless of regionality or localness, whatever the case may be, whoever their target key, like high value audiences, they need to be able to reach them. So we're passing a lot of detail in our bid requests, allowing brands to really triangulate that audience that they need and reach them at scale as best we can, right? Like, obviously the smaller you get, the smaller the scale becomes, but we are very sophisticated when it comes to being able to target those audiences. And we work with clients on every level: national brands, regional brands, local brands. All of it works very well. I think one
yeah,
of the things that is really key to us, because it is rooted in this concept of radio, we are able to triangulate down to 3 meters lat long the location of that person based on IP address. So when you're running
wow,
a campaign on TuneIn geo-targeted, which I'd say about 70% of the campaigns we run on TuneIn carry some level of geo-targeting besides just US, right? And
sure.
we are able to really reach that audience and make sure that we don't have wasted impressions, that those impressions are running in the markets where you need that, or the zips, or whatever the case may be, so that you are achieving scale and not wasting dollars with things that might fall outside. Our geo-targeting isn't based on registration data. It's really based
Yeah.
that device location at that moment.
Makes sense. So let's say for advertisers and agencies that have a major portion of paid spend in, I'll call them traditional channels like paid search and paid social, right? Which to me are basically now very traditional channels where everyone puts all the money in. Sometimes I talk to so many agencies and advertisers every week, and I think like I've seen, 70% of the budget is in paid search and paid social, which is significant. So as marketers start thinking about, am I oversaturated in what has been referred to as performance marketing, and
Yeah.
kind of like a race to the bottom of a cheaper click? How should advertisers and agencies, if they're just kind of getting started thinking about how do I include audio, tell me a little bit about what your advice and recommendations to them is. Where does streaming audio fit within that media strategy? If you're just getting started around audio, are there common mistakes to be aware of when you're incorporating audio into that media mix?
It's a great question. It's a number of questions actually, and they're
Yeah.
all really good. And
Yeah.
it's funny, I think there was a point where people thought of radio as traditional. The reality is we are so connected to people in those screenless moments more than ever before. People,
Yeah.
they have a lot going on these days. They're on the go. And when you're a live platform that's delivering live content and going back to the idea of being able to access it anywhere they are, that's really important. But they're going to the gym, they're driving to the store. People don't have time to be on a screen. And when they lean into audio, when they access audio, there's real intent there. They really care about that thing they're listening to. To go back to the NCAA tournament, I'm a huge Duke fan, right? So like I can't miss a game. And I actually found TuneIn because I was looking for a game when I wasn't going to be able to watch it on TV. So when you think about those screenless moments and how many of them there are, people are consuming more audio than ever before. So we really shouldn't be an afterthought. We should be commanding more of media budgets than we do. It's always been a thing about audio. It's almost an afterthought to brands, and really there's a big opportunity there. I think when you look at how brands develop creative, some are just stripping audio out of a TV commercial and running that as their audio spot. It's like you can be so much more thoughtful and personalized in what you're delivering to that end user using audio as the platform. So, it's you're in the car. What does that message to that user sound like? You're at home in maybe a shared listening environment on a smart speaker. What does that sound like? One size doesn't fit all from a creative perspective, and there's a lot of opportunity to personalize it. People who listen to audio and radio specifically are used to hearing ads, right? Like that's just part of the format. They they
First.
they know that's going to happen. So how do
Yeah.
you kind of get out of that a little bit and make more
Right.
of an impact with your message? And I just think there's a huge opportunity with creative development. I think we hear a lot, oh, we didn't have the resources to build
Yeah.
creative. It's like, we'll build the creative for you. Any publisher that's worth their salt from an audio perspective is going to offer to build audio creative for you because it's important that you're there for the screenless moments. And beyond that, like, how do you actually start being more thoughtful and creative and personalizing that message for different users in different environments? And it's just a way to kind of get you out of the mixing bowl, as they say, and become, more memorable, see better brand lift, and drive better results. Measurability is another thing. It's come a long, long way when it comes to audio.
Makes ton of sense. And hopefully I think what I'm getting, and I'm hoping our listeners and viewers are also getting here as well, is that like the scale of TuneIn is massive. But with it comes precision around highly specific geo targeting, which is huge for a lot of the regional brands or the agencies that are managing regional brands, whether they be automotive or home services. And to me, like the third kind of part of that holy grail too is like if you can tie that to your first party data and activations and then actually measure, hey, am I driving outcomes from incorporating not just audio into the mix, but incorporating audio via a powerful network like TuneIn? What kind of difference am I making to outcomes? Which again, just that's the power of Full Throttle and TuneIn together, is being able to bring the reach, the precision, and then also the outcomes and easy button for activation in one platform. So yeah, I think I'm super excited to be putting that out in the world and get all our advertisers and agencies access to it.
Going back to that idea of seeing which way the wind blows, programmatic is every year becoming a larger share of our ad revenue at TuneIn. We
Sure.
really want to create a frictionless sort of opportunity for brands to access it. every impression on TuneIn is available programmatically. We don't hold anything back. It's not to say we don't do direct IO buys, and there are larger custom opportunities that we can bring to brands, and we do that. But by and large, brands want to be able to be nimble with their budgets. They want to be able to spend them and be very precise with how they're spending them and spend them in places where they're seeing results. So TuneIn offers that. We have audio. We also have plenty of display and video inventory as well. So
Yeah.
it's all right there for you, and we make it available to all our programmatic partners.
Incredible. That's amazing, Chris. I think last question as we wrap up for our listeners and viewers. It's 2027. How is TuneIn different in the middle of 2027 than they are in the middle of 2026? What's next for you guys?
I think it's finding more people in more places. That idea of our value proposition, live content, and being able to access it wherever you are. We are constantly looking for new partnerships with folks like you guys at Full Throttle,
Yeah.
partnerships with, I mean, that's new to 2027. That just
Yeah,
launched last
100%.
week. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
one. We
yeah.
just did we just signed a deal with Nissan. So we're going to be integrated in Nissan vehicles moving forward.
Wow.
We want 100% coverage around the globe. 98% is great, but why can't it be 100%? Why can't we have every single station in the world? Another thing that just going back to ways brands are thinking about audio. One of the things we see here in the United States is people that are here that are consuming content that originates from elsewhere, and maybe they speak a different language. We have content in 90 different languages. About 20% of the listening in the United States is Spanish in language content that they're listening to. So when brands think about,
Wow.
oh, how am I going to reach these audiences in a meaningful way? It's like, don't just take your spot
Right.
and run it to everybody. Like, let's
Right.
cut an in language spot and run it against in language content. It'll elevate you. It'll
Yeah.
make you stand out in that ad pod and create a better experience. But yeah, I mean, these are all things that we're thinking about. How do we make TuneIn as good as it possibly can be? How can we be in more places? How can we have more content? We want to be a one-stop shop for any audio consumer in the world, right? Like
Right.
if you want
Right.
news, if you want sports, if you want business finance content, like music, podcasts, audiobooks, like if
Everything.
it's
Yeah.
audio, we
Yeah.
want to bring it to you. We don't want you to have to go anywhere else to get it. So that's always what we're striving to do.
Yeah. Incredible. Thanks again, Chris, for
Yeah,
taking some time with me here today and sharing with the world really the power of TuneIn and Full Throttle together.
yeah,
And again, for our listeners and viewers, super excited. You'll have more information on TuneIn being available in the Full Throttle platform, how to access it. And if you're not on the Full Throttle platform today, please reach out. We'd love to show you a demo and now the brand new capabilities we're bringing to the platform.
absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's been great. And everyone else, jump in. The water's warm.
Thanks.